We're from On the Story. We're joined by France 24's chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons. Hi, Rob. Hi. Good to have you here in the studio. What is the significance of France's withdrawal from this military base in Timbuktu?
I mean, as we saw in that report, it's got that significance. In a way, the operation against the Islamists in Mali and the rest of the Sahel began in 2013 in Timbuktu when François Hollande went there and announced the start of the French engagement. So, almost 9 years later, it's clearly significant that France has decided to pull its forces out of northern Mali. First, as was mentioned in that report, Kidal and Tessalit, and now the most symbolic of all, Timbuktu. This marks as what Emmanuel Macron called back in June a profound transformation of France's profile in the Sahel, away from the sort of operations we've seen in the past, the sort of sweep operations through the countryside, and a shift away from focusing on Mali and recognizing that the conflict in the intervening years since 2015 has become a broader one in the Sahel. It's not just going to be focused on Mali. It has to move and recognize the fact that these jihadist organizations and groups have grown stronger in Niger and Burkina Faso and further afield as well. So France is concentrating its operation now in, as we heard again, the report in Gao, which is near the border with Niger and Burkina Faso, and in Niamey in Niger, focusing on what's called the three border areas where those three countries converge on each other. And we'll be joining forces with Operation Takuba, which is being backed by the European Union. There are already Czech, Swedish, Italian troops there. France will form the backbone, but its operations won't be like they were in the past. They'll be using special forces more, air support obviously as they have in the past, but this is a change in profile.
And why are the French drawing down their troop levels now? It's not as if the fight in the against jihadism in the Sahel is over, is it?
No, quite clearly not. But I think there is a recognition that France alone cannot do that much. We heard, not in this particular report, but earlier this week, the general in charge talking about the fact that although France has over 5,000 troops in the Sahel and 6 combat aircraft, several drones, that is tiny if you consider the size of the area that they're operating in. It's the size of Europe. With a force that small, that's like, trying to look for a needle in a haystack when you're operating against jihadist groups. So, they've recognized that they've got to change the style of their operations. They recognize too that, or accept now too, that more emphasis has to be put on the national armies. They're putting more responsibility on the Malian armed forces. There's a little bit of reluctance, it would seem, on the part of Mali to accept that responsibility. Some concern among the population, as we saw in Timbuktu as well. But it also has to be borne in mind that the relationship between the French government and the Malian government has become a bit sour over the last few months. There have been 2 coups d'etat in Mali. French not happy about it. The relationship has become quite tense, and that, I think, is reflected in the decision to leave as well.
All right, Rob Parsons.
Well, not leave, quite. I should correct myself. They're still going to be in Gao.
Yes, sorry, I cut you off there. Sorry, well, thank you. France 24's Rob Parsons with me here in the studio to talk about that French troop drawdown in Mali.